9th. Our first order of business is approval of minutes.
Second.
Oh, that was quick, committee. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Item number 1 under new business is authorization for the mayor to execute agreements with AlDOT for installation, operation, and maintenance of traffic control signals and/or roadway lighting. Mike?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is for roadway lighting. It's at exit 79 on the interstate. This will be lighting not on the interstate, but associated with the exit, and it's in the city limits. So this is pretty much a standard agreement. AlDOT does all the installation and the cost of all the materials, and then we take over maintenance, very similar to where, we do it all over the city.
Questions from Mike?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2 is approval of amendment number 2 to task order directive number 1 with the TTL contract for University Boulevard East roadway improvement projects. No additional cost. Mike?
Yes, sir. So we had an initial contract with TTL for design services and so forth with the University Boulevard East project out in Alberta. As the project has developed, there are certain line items within the contract for specific things. And basically what this ask is we need to shift some of that money, move it from one component of the directive to another, and it is a no additional cost change. But we have to bring these to y'all for approval.
Change the contract. Fine. Questions?
No, sir. So moved.
I have a question. Why do we do this?
Why?
Yeah.
So
Is this something we normally do in a contract that's got multiple components?
this is the way OCA wants us to handle these contracts. So I guess the answer to that is we do it because OCA wants it that way, and I guess it's cleaner for them. Even though we're
I
just
think,
shifting money around from
Is this
one
standard
item.
way we handle it?
Yes, sir, I believe so, and I can talk to Sarah, our procurement, our contract expert in my office that handles all these, and I can get you a simpler, clearer answer as to why we're doing it this way.
But we're basically being asked to change the scope of what we've already approved.
I'll second.
Correct.
Well,
Change-
not a
Part
dot,
of what-
not
We're
a,
being allowed to move money amongst the internal components if they shake out differently, we think,
Which is
as long as
different.
the total doesn't change,
Yeah, but
right?
which is different than what we originally talked about, though, right?
And what was
Or not.
presented to you originally.
all right. So I think I'm trying to answer two questions here at the one time.
Yeah.
So yes, what we're doing is basically saying is there's different components that come to a total. During the course of this project development, one of the line items exceeded the estimate that we got originally for TTL. Some of them look like they're not gonna be used or not gonna,
As much
so we're
as
just
thought.
moving that dollar amount change around in the contract. The end result is
It's the
no
same
net
amount.
loss or gain.
It's fine.
But we have to amend the contract with them so they spend this money in these areas, and we can't amend a contract without council's
The way
approval.
we told them, in the new way.
That's correct. Yeah,
Otherwise, you can't do that.
Are there any dangers in that?
Any dangers?
In, who's making the decision on where to shift money?
The engineers,
The consultant is, yes. Yes.
but they have to shift it to where we agree to in
With-
this
with your
amendment,
agreement.
and they can't move it somewhere else without coming
With Mike's
back.
agreement.
That's
Okay,
right.
all right,
That's
I'll
right.
second.
Any other discussion? Is motion second on the table? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item number three, wish we were. Item number 3 is approval of professional services agreement with TTL for the Northridge Slope Repair Project. Total is $51,038. Clint, welcome.
Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This amendment includes an increase of $51,038, modifying the final contract amount to $136,000, just over that. The need for this justification, the justification for this amendment is to include the SDS services, which is the service during construction phase of the project. After when this proposal came earlier last year, we did not include this because we didn't know exactly how much would go into this phase. Now that we've had the final design done, we have a more accurate number for this. So this is why we're asking for this request. Again, this is the Northridge slope repair failure that's right across from the Northridge High School. So this project will repair and protect the Northridge Road right there.
Questions?
So the services during construction, don't we typically estimate that to be a sort of customary amount as a proportion of the total contract?
Yes, sir. For this
What's
project,
that customary proportion? I was thinking it was
it,
usually do 12.
12%? Okay.
and it ranges based on different
Oh,
projects.
okay, but,
So
so when, as we prepared to go repair the Northridge slope, what did we think the contract was? Apparently, we thought it was 136 minus 51, right?
All right, so the SDC, the services during construction, they were asking for here. I think the original proposal had a services during construction based on how long the contract time, the construction time was gonna be. Most of these things are hourly in this component of the contract. X number of hours of observation, X number of hours of engineer observation. As this project came to final design, it was recognized that the estimate of time needed in the original contract, we didn't have SDC, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so until we know how long that contract time is, we waited to ask for the services during construction component. Now that we know what the timeline of the construction is, this is why we're here asking for that additional.
Okay, I'm still confused. If we typically expect the SDC portion to be, call it between 10 and 15%.
Okay.
We're increasing this, we're amending this contract by what, 40%?
There is no SDC in this contract right now. I think that's what I've not clearly
But
stated.
for what y'all have told me, I would expect if we needed to add an SDC, it would be somewhere around $15,000 or $20,000, based on the customary proportion that those services typically constitute on a construction project. What am I missing?
It's the construction costs,
Yeah.
not the engineering. You're applying the 12% to the engineering cost.
So the estimated construction cost on this one
I got you.
is north of
So this
$700,000.
is just the, I got you.
$700,000 worth.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate
20%
that.
is 160, that makes sense. Hopefully it'll be
All right,
less.
I have no additional questions.
We entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is approved. Item number 4 is approval. Minor Public Works contract with SD Bun Construction for roadway repair on Rice Mine Road Northeast. The total is $24,306.25. Selvin, welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, Counselor. Thank you for your time and attention. This is a contract for support services that are needed to make a roadway repair on Rice Mine Road, the northeastern section of this. This will be the area of Rice Mine Road that sits you a little bit north of Crown Point entrance. So if you think of that area, we've got a section of roadway up there where the pavement is deteriorated pretty bad. It does not match the entire condition of the roadway, so it's not quite at that level yet of needing resurfacing for the whole roadway, but this part needs to be done just to shore us up for
Near the
those.
curve- Near the curve right there.
Yes, sir.
But that's gonna marry up with the other stuff that's being done on Watermelon, right? That's being paid.
That part, I think it doesn't go quite around that
Okay.
far yet.
Okay, not to the church. right?
But now,
Watermelon's just gonna go from, I believe, 82 back to Old Colony.
yeah,
Just the old colony.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes.
but this repairs close to the curve around from Crown Point.
Just past that Crown Point entrance, just north of that Crown Point entrance. And we selected or took quotes on this work. ST Bond was the most responsive. and we are paying for this out of operations. The amount is $24,306.25 that we would be asking for
Question.
approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is approved. Item number 5 is authorization for the mayor to execute a revised cooperative maintenance agreement with Aldott regarding sidewalk maintenance at Snow Inn Park. Tom, welcome, Mr. Bobbitt.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good
Hello,
afternoon.
Tom.
This is fairly simple. This is a previous resolution and maintenance agreement that you approved. This was prior to construction of the sidewalks on Snow Hinton Park that are either side of the Northington Access Road that was recently constructed. And there are a mile marker posts in that agreement prior to construction. Now that those sidewalks have been completed, there are these new sections, they fall within new post markers, excuse me. And that's what we're asking. Aldot's just simply asking that we execute this new maintenance agreement with those new mile post markers in it.
Don't have any question. Motion.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding for healthcare clinical experience for EMS students with Regional Training Institute. Chief Smith, welcome.
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
This is straightforward. We send firefighters to paramedic school. Will allow them, when they're going to the school at RTI, to do some of their rotations on our trucks. Which we make sure it gives them a lot of good experience. They have to do over 280 hours in a semester. So that's why we're asking to double this up. Took a while to hammer out some of the things in the MOU.
Questions?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is approved. Item number 7 is authorization to make budget and program changes to the 2022 action plan of the city's 5-year consolidated plan for community planning and development programs for 2020 to 2024. It's a local amendment. Wayne, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good
We're
afternoon.
seeking authorization to do a line item transfer of $11,208.75 from Section 108 loan principal to Section 108 loan interest. That payment's due at the end of the month, so we're needing to get that approval to do that.
Questions?
So moved.
I don't have any objections to it. I want to understand, we're paying interest?
This is.
So we're moving it from principal to interest. Is that funds received or?
Those are funds that are already in our CDBG contract. And we're just dividing the principal and interest differently than we originally budgeted.
Why?
So there's no additional funding.
Why are we dividing it differently?
We had a defeasance last year.
A what?
A defeasance. We paid down some principal. So we ended up with a gap in what we budgeted and what's available. So we're using those available funds to pay this interest.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 7 is approved. Thank you, Wayne. Item number 8 is approval to award construction contract to Mark Johnson Construction for the Fletcher improvement projects. The total is $12,225,000. Ms. Kimberly, welcome.
Mr. Chairman, as Ms. Michael comes up
Yes,
to
sir.
present this, I want to thank the council. I think a large number of you have gone out and toured the Fletcher plan as we asked back in December. I really feel so confident in the leadership that Ms. Michael's providing us. I was thinking back when she was appointed more than a year ago, one of the challenges was the implementation of the 10-year plan in the most effective way possible and leveraging our relationships with entities like ADI. Today, and I know this is a standard recommendation that comes to you, but it reflects a forward-leaning posture that her and her team have taken to help us address, quite frankly, some long-standing issues that we've had. And I'm really proud of the work that she's done, and I'm thankful that you took the time to be part of it. I think it's very important. A lot of times what we do on the water and sewer side doesn't rise to the public's attention as much as it needs to be, yet it's an important part of your portfolio. And so thank you for doing that, and thank you, Ms. Michael, for putting together this recommendation. I believe you'll be very interested in it and see where she's going and where she wants to take our department.
Mr. Mayor, to echo your comments, the Kimberly and her team did a great job with us today of explaining where we are, where we're going, and what we need to do as a city. And I do think we're on the right path with this, these upgrades, because if we want to grow our city and we want to continue to be a city of the future, like we are even today, a city today and the future, we've got to upgrade our water and sewer. And I think those are issues that we're all agreeing to tackle. And I think they've got a good plan, and I'm looking forward to, in the committee, is hearing what's on tap, because there's a lot of good things happening.
Well, I appreciate y'all saying all that. I really appreciate the time that you took out of your schedules to come out there. It means a lot to us that you support us, but it means a lot to the employees when they see you out there showing interest in what they're doing as well. So the first item that I'll be presenting, this is for the bid award for the Hilliard-Fletcher Water Resource Recovery Facilities Phase 2 improvements. I know it's a long title. What this particular project is the aeration basin project, and then also the 3 digesters. And as we've discussed, originally this was broken into smaller pieces that were that we had planned to fund in the 2024 bond, and then also in the current 2022 bond that we already have. But because of what we felt like was an opportunity to save a few $1 million on this and combine them together, then also with some of our own ongoing discussions with ADEM, we felt it was important to go ahead and try to push this forward and shift around some of the funding, because we do feel like as a plant, as the department, as the different regulations are coming down, that this is a very high priority for us. But like I said, an opportunity to save a good bit of money and to make some really important things happen for us and for the employees that are having to handle all these broken processes that are, I shouldn't say broken, processes that really aren't up to par as they should be. So for this project, we had 4 interested bidders, so 4 bidders that were qualified to bid on this job, so we did pre-qualify. We ended up with 2 bidders, and the split was $2,200,000, or $2,002,000 was the difference. So the low bid was Mark Johnson Construction in the amount of $12,225,000. And as we discussed in the tours last week and this week, we did the base bid, which is a little different than our other bids that we typically do. The base bid was all inclusive, and instead of having added alternates, we did deductive alternates because we felt like we would get the best price doing that. And if we weren't able to get the prices that we want, we could always deduct out and get back to the original piece of it. So do you want me to go through all of the deductive alternates?
I don't need it. If y'all do, that's fine. But based on the time we spent talking and reviewing it this morning,
Okay.
I think I'm good.
That's fine.
All right. So
Yeah.
what we're asking is to award the bid to Mark Johnson Construction, the amount of $12,225,000.
And Kimberly, just rattle off the several things that we are doing. You don't have to go in a lot of detail, but just say this, that money is being spent how? What are
That
we
money
doing?
is being spent on rehabbing the aeration basin, which is like basically one of the head processes at the plant. It puts the oxygen in the water. If you've been out there, you've seen some of the problems that we have with that, with the air going into the system. It also is the 3 digesters. The digesters are the separation of the liquids and the solids. Not having the digesters mixing means we're taking way more to the landfill. We're spending a lot more money on landfilling, and it's because the process isn't breaking down properly. It's also working on the control panels that are within the systems related to the digesters, and those are from the 70s, so this is upgrading them, making them more safe also. And then repairing one of the roofs at the digester control building, and then also the gas scrubber system.
Mr. Chair.
Questions?
And Kimberly, can you tell, for those who are listening to us, how important it is for this to be done?
So the aeration basin is what having the oxygen go in and help grow the bugs, as you hear us say, is what eats up the bacteria in the wastewater. So that piece of it is very important for the quality of water that we discharge, which just again with some of the conversations that we've had, you'll see when we have like discharge violations, that has to do with the quality of water that we're discharging, which this helps improve that. And then the other piece with the digesters, again, has to do with the solid separation. It has to do with the volume that we're able to discharge or not discharge, and the volumes that we're having to landfill versus what we should be. We're filling far more now than we should be because we can't dewater it the proper way.
Thank you, thank you.
And I would like to add that if you're aerating a sinkhole where air can escape, it's not efficient from your utility bill. And so if you're spending $90,000 a month on utility, every little bit counts. When the sinkhole is corrected, it will provide more resistance to the aeration and therefore more electrical efficiency.
That's all right. Mr.
Bada
Murphy.
boom.
You got it. You got it.
Apparently you had your Wheaties today.
So you enjoyed your tour.
I appreciate the time y'all spent out there with us this morning.
That's right, that's right.
Any other questions for Kimberly? And Kimberly, you know, we were having the discussion about just the money for this is coming out of the 2022 bond that is already out there, and we basically just moved some projects that we were going to do and swap some things with the 24 upcoming bond, but we're not really technically delaying much of anything. It's just the pot of how we're paying for it a little different, right?
That's correct. So the only project that we actually had ready to go to bids that is being delayed, if you will, is the Garner Road lining project. That's the only one that is ready to go to bids, and that particular project is approximately $4 million of this. But as soon as that'll be the first project out the door with the 2022 bond, which will be sometime in mid-calendar year. That's the proposed plan is mid-calendar year.
With the 2024 bond. Right?
Yes, sir.
One of the things I have to think about this, because I'm not very smart, I have to try to understand what we're doing, is that in the past, the leadership approach had been more piecemeal with this and our other processes. I really appreciate Kimberly taking things on holistically. And I think her approach means improvements quicker, but also taking advantage of prices. So for me, I really like the direction her team leaned into, and we can rectify these issues quicker, which is it's certainly good across the board in many different ways, whether it's utility savings, quality that we place back into the river, and certainly the confidence of the public.
And the other good thing to your point, though, that we were talking about today is these improved pricing areas are allowing us to do more things faster that need to be done. And that was encouraging today, meeting with all of y'all. And the team seemed to be very excited about what was happening. So.
And I did want to talk the timeline on this one. So we do anticipate it to let the project in March, and it's about a year and a half. So we anticipate early stages completion in September of 2025.
That's good.
Any other questions, or I would entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 8 is approved. Item number 9 is approval of engineering services agreement with Garber for the Hillard Fletcher project, phase 2, improvement project. The total is $719,400, Kimberly.
This is the engineering services during construction for the project that you just approved. And this is one of those because we weren't sure when we were doing the engineering how we were going to be combining projects together. And so this is that phase of this.
Questions?
So the 12-2, 12-3 on the work, the 3/4 on this, we're at 13-ish
Yes, sir.
total. Motion.
Second.
Moved, seconded, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 9 is approved. Is there any other business to be brought before this committee? Our next Public Projects Committee meeting will be in 2 weeks on January the 23rd, hopefully at 2:30. With that, before we adjourn for dinner, does anybody have any other questions?
We're not adjourning for dinner,
No,
we're
I'm
adjourning
kidding.
for finance.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.